Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you. Welcome to Milan. I'm really excited to be here. I think these are exciting times for our industry and for us at Checkpoint. There's a lot of work that we need to do. Before I start my presentation, I want to first welcome all of you. So, welcome. And thank all our sponsors that are presenting here a lot of interesting technology solutions and a lot of ways to better implement security. So first, thanks to all the bronze and silver partners. Special thanks to our gold partners, Microsoft, VMware, and our long-standing distributor, Westcon. And even bigger thank you for our two platinum partners, Backbox and Tufin. Thank you very much for being here, for helping us to put this event together. But before I start speaking about technology and the challenges ahead of us, let me start with a small personal story. 6 months ago, I had a new baby born. It's my fourth baby, thank you. And like a proud father and experienced father, I know what I need to do when I have my new baby born. I need to find a new gadget, a new toy for myself. His mother will be busy with him, so I need to find something interesting for me. And this time I actually found an interesting gadget, something that's related to the baby, and that's actually what you can see here on the slide. That's this electronic connected baby crib. It's actually a baby crib where you put the baby inside, the crib senses the baby and moves it, rocks it a little bit, plays some sounds, and that's supposed to put the baby to sleep. I thought it's a wonderful gadget that will help me a lot in sleeping better at night, and I got it. It actually got out to the market 2 days before my baby was born, so it was a perfect gift for us. And my wife, she was all excited. It's her first baby, and she was all over him. But after the first 3 weeks, she did the first mistake, and she went to do some errands for an hour and left me alone with the baby. And for me, it was the perfect opportunity. I said I can try the gadget. So for the first 5 minutes, the baby was quiet, nothing happened. But then about 5 minutes later, after she left, he started crying. And I said, okay, that's my perfect opportunity. Let's take him, put him in the crib, turn it on, and see if it works. So I'm taking the baby out, putting him in the crib. I'm pressing the button. You see, it's a very simple thing, just one button at the front. At the left there, you can see it. And nothing happens. So like a good technology person, I'm trying to connect the electricity. Doesn't help. I'm checking my app. It has an iPhone app that controls it. Nothing happens. Actually, it tells me no communication. Turning it on, turning it off, taking it actually up. I'm trying to resync the device with the app, with the red light. So you need to see the license key from the bottom of the crib. So I'm putting it all the way up to resync. It doesn't work again. I'm trying it 2-3 times, 10, 15 minutes, still nothing happens. Meanwhile, by the way, after 15 minutes, the baby is asleep anyways. Doesn't matter. But I'm giving up and I'm saying, this thing doesn't work, frustrated with it. And something interesting happened. The next day, I'm getting an email, and that's the real email. You see, 26th of November. Hello, Gil. Yesterday, we had an interruption of our internet service, maybe an internet attack, and this device is controlled, it's an IoT device, controlled from the web, didn't work. You see, Snoo Apps and Sleeper didn't work. We're now back online and in the process of restoring service to all these devices. Kind of interesting. So you see this interesting thing, even my baby, without me knowing, was controlled from the internet, and something that could have been an internet attack stopped my baby from being asleep. So we can clearly see that everything is connected now, and everyone is connected. That's the baby now, by the way, 6 months later. He's much more experienced, plays all the time with the iPhone. But if we apply it not just to our daily life at home, this is something very serious that's happening in our world and taking us forward. So where does it taking us? So we clearly see that everything is connected. We clearly see also that the attacks are truly everywhere. Here is an example of a an hotel in Austria where customers were locked out of their rooms because ransomware attacked their door control system. We've seen just last week about the French presidential election hacked, email hack trying to influence the election through cybersecurity. So the attacks are everywhere. New vectors like mobile are hitting, and you can see here a Guligan, an attack that was initiated with mobile devices last November. More than 1 million Google accounts were breached, by the way, partly private, but partly corporate Google accounts, cloud hosted, were hacked through the use of mobile malware. And these hackers are using the most dangerous tools. It's not just amateur tools, and if the physical world, the people who try to break into our house would use simple tools, would use a hammer and a cutter to break through the fence. Here in the cyberspace, the hackers use the most dangerous tools like the NSA tools that were leaked last summer to the internet and are available for every hacker. So something is really happening, and that something leads us to the future. The future of cybersecurity is already here, and we need to get ready for that. And you see, I wrote this presentation a few months ago, presented it a couple of times, and just last weekend we all saw that that future is here. Actually, all the phenomena that I spoke about. And new malware using the NSA tools hitting all of us, and we can see some of the example all over the world in one day. German trains, Chinese police, Russian banks, Portugal is a target for that, Spanish telco, Renault shut down in France, manufacturing in their plants due to the malware, all the way to hospitals in the UK. One day, one attack using the most sophisticated tools. So what really we've seen here, and you can see the note from the emergency room in a UK hospital. The emergencies department has no IT services, things are not working the way they should be. So what have we learned from that? Criminals are easily using superpower technology, massive damage to critical services in one day, and keep in mind, advanced threat prevention tools do exist, but not sufficiently used by all of us. So where does it take us? What should we expect this year? What should we look forward? So first, attacks will continue to grow. It's not the end of the attacks, it's merely the beginning of attacks that we've seen. These attacks are happening every day, will continue to grow, and we are all targets. The attackers will use the most advanced threats to our networks, to our older PCs, like last weekend the attack, it was for older versions of Windows, but not only for that, they'll go on the cloud infrastructure, and we see this phenomena of cloudification, so the cloud will be a target. Our mobile devices, I think they are the biggest threat and the most critical vector. They follow us every second of our day and night. They broadcast, they are connected all the time. Everything we see, everything we speak, everything we do, they listen to us. Whether we connect them to our corporate email and corporate apps or not, they follow us on our personal lives, on our business life every second, and they always connected to their malware operators all over the internet. So these are the key trends. Advanced threats, clouds, and mobility, I think, will continue to drive the risks in the years to come. So are we ready for that? What are we doing about that? Are we taking the right approach? That's the question that we ask ourselves. And there are technologies to address some of these risks and some of these threats. So maybe a quick question with a show of hands. How many people here use technology to secure their mobile, to secure the cloud? Can you raise your hands? Okay, nice number here. About, I think, 10% of the people here. It should be more because there's actually, let's represent the checkpoint employees in these rooms that all have mobile security technology. And again, remember, you are a crowd of people that are aware of security, invest all your time and effort in security, and still in this room, the percentage is very low. And if you look at the companies you represent and all the companies around us, the percentages are actually not better, are much, much worse. You can see the green bars are quite low here, and if we look at the red bars, we can see that about 7% of customers are actually started implementing advanced threat protection. And when we talk about cloud and mobility, it's between 1 to 2% of enterprises that are using these technologies. And remember, even those who use don't necessarily use it for their entire install base and for all their infrastructure. So if that's the case, and we are actually not using the tools, why are we surprised that we're so vulnerable? Shouldn't be surprised. Now, when we go and ask ourselves and ask you and interview people and ask why are we not using these advanced tools, we got all sorts of explanations. Some of them are excuses, some of them are very good explanations. For example, people might say it's too complicated. We didn't realize that's such a problem. That's not such a good excuse. Too many point products, a real issue. Not enough trained people, that's not an excuse, that's a real issue. We don't have enough trained people to manage the complexity and the sophistication of cybersecurity. And we didn't think it could hurt us. Let's think again, it will hurt all of us. So these are the explanation, and how are we addressing that? So if you look at today's common architecture to implement security, we started with something very important 24 years ago, that's the firewall. And if we imagine our house like a house, and we need to put a roof to our head to make sure that the rain and other environmental damages don't leak through us, we put the firewall. It blocks a lot of that, but our roof is becoming bigger and bigger, and the firewall doesn't block all the rain, and we still get rain into our house. So what do? We implement additional technology. Technology B, technology C, we can have all these kinds of names. IPS, threat prevention, many, many different technologies. Technology B, technology C, we invest more, we implement more technology. You see the roof is still leaking here. So we say, okay, we can't protect ourselves against leakage. Let's put some more tools. Let's put some buckets and let's put some advanced tools. We will be attacked anyway, so let's put some attack mitigation tools, some breach detection tools. We will be harmed anyway, so let's detect it anyways. And what we get at the end is today's architecture, too many disparate technologies, inherent gaps, the water keeps leaking, and we get incomplete coverage, and we focus on post-breach detection, mitigation tools, and we say attacks will happen anyways, so we might as well mitigate the damage. So is that the right approach? I don't think so. I don't think that's the world we should live in. I think we can do better. So what's the conclusion? Conclusion is we are under a constant attack, and we see it every day. We are not taking the right action, and we are not investing in the right places. And the question is, how can we build a better architecture? So let me move to a different analogy. I've talked about the leaking roof. Now let's look at our production floor. That's our street, that's our production floor. All these wonderful items you see on the floor are the different types of malicious things that can be there. That can hurt us. Again, what are we doing today? We're putting a light over that, and we are looking under the street light. We are looking on the obvious threats that we know how to address with our existing tool. Obvious threats are identified. But remember, everything else kept being in the dark. The threats are still there and are still damaging us. So again, approach A, take multiple systems, multiple management console, multiple teams to manage them, costly, ineffective, and in reality, we can't get all these trained people to manage all these systems, and we will leave a lot of dark areas between these different slides. There is a different approach. There is the right approach, and that's broaden our light beam and move to one integrated system, one consolidated system where we can identify all the threats and we can block all the threats. What does that mean in today's environment? What that means in today's environment, that we need to get a consolidated architecture when we can look at all types of threats, mobile, cloud, network, all of them under the same umbrella, under the same light beam. Integrated threat prevention. It's not just about detecting, it's not just about basic capabilities, it's 100% integration of the most advanced threat prevention everywhere in the system. We need to address new areas like auto-scaling. It's not a static network anymore that we can physically or manually add more elements. If we have a cloud, we need a system that auto-scales. And we need to have a security policy that doesn't just speak about technicalities, IP addresses, but something that we can really express and manage the real business needs that we had. Security that actually follows the business. And that also means that we need to work in any environment we operate in, from the old, or not the old, the existing networks through the data center, in the future addressing all the IoT needs that we need, critical infrastructure, national security. These are all areas that we need to invest in, we are investing, even connected cars. We need to do it efficiently. We don't have unlimited resources. And again, resources is not just the amount of money we invest. I never, by the way, pitch that you solve the problem by over-investing. We need to do it right. We need to utilize the people that we have. And I met just last CPX 3 weeks ago in Las Vegas, our colleagues, your colleagues in the US, and they all gave me the same thing. We have more resources. We grew our team from 5 people to 8 people, maybe to 10 people. Can 10 people manage all the complexity of cybersecurity? We cannot manage half a dozen different systems with 10 people. So we need to learn how to do it efficiently. And most important, it's not about being smarter. It's not about identifying the risk. It's about keeping the attacks, keeping the hackers outside. That's what we need to do. So how are we realizing that in Checkpoint? What are we doing to make that vision and to make these needs a reality? First, we do focus about the future of cybersecurity. And again, this year, we chose very clear focus areas: cloud, mobile, and advanced threat prevention. We need to make sure that these items are covered everywhere that we are. And if we look at the architecture that I presented earlier, the leaky roof here, multi-vendor, focusing on mitigation and detection, we think that there can be a different architecture that focuses on prevention, that focuses on unified architecture, and you can see here the layers cover one another, starting from the next generation firewall, going through the next generation threat prevention, all the way with technologies like SandBlast Advanced Threat Prevention. And this covers not just the network, it covers everything: the cloud, the mobile, the network, and that's where we want to be. And today, I think we are using this venue for something very special. Today, we're introducing the architecture for the future of cybersecurity, the architecture that actually implements it. So today we're introducing Infinity. I'm sure you've seen some of the signs outside. And I think Infinity is a very, very important milestone for industry. It's the first technology that actually addresses the needs, the architectural need of cybersecurity of the future. Infinity is the first one that really provides consolidated security across the network, the cloud, and the mobile, with the highest level of threat prevention. And let's see a little bit what does that mean. First, it's not multiple products somehow connected together. It's actually one security platform where we can leverage the information, the intelligence, when we can be open to tools that provide us that information across our entire enterprise. It's an architecture when preemptive threat prevention is built into every part of the system and blocks the most sophisticated attacks before they happen. and it's truly consolidated. Single management console, modular policy management, integrated threat visibility. At every point of time, we can go from the high-level view, what's the state of our security, to the statistics of the attacks, to drill down and see specific attack vectors, specific attack, and see the visibility all the way down. All of that across all our networks, clouds, and supporting all the different clouds of type and the different mobile devices. And maybe I'll look for a simple example of how Infinity can work. And again, this example was written before last week's example, but it applies 100% to what we've seen in the last weekend. Let's say that there is a cyber campaign targeted at us. So at 11:30 in the morning, we get an incoming mail with an attachment. We send it to our SandBlast for analysis, and SandBlast actually find the zero-day attack that wasn't known before, detected by that. It's not only seeing that attack, it automatically extracts from that file more and more information, like what's the address of the command and control it's trying to access. Additional indicators that can tell us that there may be other variations of that attack that are there. Instantly, all this information is shared with our entire enterprise, and by the way, potentially with other customers, and all these threats are getting there. Now, 2 minutes later, somebody is trying to access one of these malicious websites, not download the file, not getting an email, but now access one of the malicious files through another part of the attack. Guess what? The malicious link is identified by the exposed indicator and it's blocked. 5 minutes later, we are finding that a server from our cloud is trying to access one of that information. Again, it's quarantined automatically and immediately. Now, think about doing all these things with your existing infrastructure. First, you don't have the analysts, and even if you do, it will take them many, many hours to analyze that file. If you even get the file, and if you even have this advanced system to detect zero-day malware, and you get an alarm, now let's go and analyze and see what's there. It will take many hours. Now think about how do we take these IOCs and install them on all the other 3, 4, 5 systems that we have to address mobile attacks and to address the virtual system. Now, in my experience, I can tell you what happens. It was never done. Can't do it with today's system. And I speak to many CISOs, they say, we get this feed, not in real time, but even a day or a week later about this attack. What do I do with it? I get all this list of IOCs. I can't install them in all my system. I don't know what to do with them. And FriendCloud and Infinity actually does it for you. So Checkpoint Infinity actually use this shared intelligence in real time to do real threat prevention across the network, the mobile, the cloud, with one consolidated system to block the attack. And again, think about all your infrastructure. I know that you have smart people. I know that you have some of the sophisticated people in the industry. Otherwise, you won't be there. But doing what's done in Infinity automatically with today's tool, it's simply not practical, and nobody does it. So if I need to summarize and highlight some of the things we'll speak about, if we have this architecture A with the leaky roof, there is an alternative, there is a new architecture, and that's Checkpoint Infinity. We can get ourselves, don't just say we can't build a strong roof, we have to live in a leaky environment. You can live in a safe house, you can build the right roof to your house and live very peacefully inside your house, keeping the leakage, keeping the damages outside. And that's what we intend to do with you, with your help, with your assistance, to provide that to us, to provide it to the world, and that's what Checkpoint Infinity is all about. So in the next 2 days, I think we will all learn more about how all this technology works, how they work together, and how to really build the security architecture that we all need to secure our enterprises, to secure our customers, our external customers, our internal customers, and hopefully make this world a safer place and make cyberplace a place that we are all proud to be when we can win on the attackers. So thank you very much for joining me today. and I think it's going to be very exciting 2 days for all of us. Thank you very much.